Well, this is going to be very awkward footage. It's a lot of my face. Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Kara, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some holiday gift ideas. Now, when I initially sat down to film this, I was scrolling through Sephora looking for some gift ideas, and it just didn't ring true to me. A lot of the holiday sets are things that I wouldn't personally give to somebody else, if only because they're very specific in terms of color, or sometimes they're just overkill, and the people that I'm looking for gifts for aren't nearly as into makeup as I am. And additionally, I haven't bought any of those sets, so for me to recommend them as gifts for you to give to somebody else is very disingenuous when I have not tried them myself. So rather than go the route of what's new on the market, I decided instead to look at my collection and look at the items that have really stood the test of time. A lot of these items you've heard me talk about likely for years at this point, but they're all items that I have tried over and over again. I continue to use them frequently, and I would have no hesitation in giving them to somebody else personally. Therefore, I think it makes sense for me to recommend those items. A gift doesn't have to be the newest thing on the market. As long as it's new to the person receiving it, I think you've accomplished the goal. So that is what we're going to do today. I do have a little bit of a mixed bag. There's one fragrance item, a few makeup items, and then one sort of makeup adjacent item. But before we get into that, let's talk about the gift of jewelry. And it's brought to you by today's sponsor, Ana Luisa. So the items that I am wearing today are all from Ana Luisa. These are two necklaces that are sold as a set to make for very easy layering. I love that they're separate pieces so that I can wear one at a time or wear them together. The earrings are also from Ana Luisa, as is the matching ring. So let's take a closer look at some of the items from their line. Ana Luisa is a 100% carbon and water neutral brand dedicated to creating jewelry you can feel good about wearing. They offer a wide variety of beautiful pieces from just $39 with timeless designs. These pieces are meant to last a lifetime in your collection, not just be a flash in the pan trend. Ana Luisa's jewelry uses nickel-free and hypoallergenic metals and uses recycled materials whenever possible. Orders are shipped to over 200 countries worldwide in 100% recycled shipping materials. Check my description box for details about Ana Luisa's holiday sales so you can give the gift of timeless elegance. It sounds so cheesy. I mean, okay, the truth of the matter is, I love this jewelry. The earrings, I wear those medium hoops non-stop. I just put them in and literally like a month will go by before I will remember to change them. I never like turn green. I never get itchy. It's just, these pieces are just designed in a way that is elegant and yet so wearable. And the bracelets, I cannot decide which one is my favorite. Just when I thought it was the one with the little dots, then I thought, maybe it's the one with the links. I can't choose a favorite. I just love them so much. These pieces are beautiful. They get so much wear in my collection. I just think they make for like the perfect everyday jewelry. So there's my honest endorsement. I've never had a complaint about any of the items that I've had. Quality is top notch. They've held up, and I wear them over and over and over again. So I do have information for their sale in my description box. There is an affiliate link and an affiliate code if you choose to use that. Thank you so much. But obviously there is no pressure to do so. But all the information, they have a variety of sales coming up. You will find that in the description box. So let's move on over to the rest of the video. Now, moving away from that and back into the world of makeup, I do have quite a few items to talk about. So let's talk about the makeup adjacent item first, and that would be a brush cleaner, albeit not the sexiest gift to give, but one that has a lot of value to it. So in specific, this is the Makeup Brush Cleanser from Cinema Secrets. I have been using this product for years. You can see I have made quite the healthy dent in this gigantic bottle. This is 946 milliliters, and I believe it retails for $57 Canadian, making this an excellent gift to give, if not particularly sexy or exciting. It is definitely an expensive item, but one that a bottle of this size lasts me the vast majority of the year. It is essential for somebody who wears makeup every single day to make sure that your brushes are clean, and this just gets the job done really quickly and efficiently. I don't rely on it for deep cleaning. I do use the Dr. Bronner's Castile soap for that, but this one's really great for in between deep cleanses or when you just need to clean off that particular brush and get right back into creating, because it dries pretty much instantly as well. So it just makes for a really good practical gift to give to the makeup lover in your life. Now, before we move into the actual makeup products then, let's take a quick stop at fragrance. And I know that fragrance is really difficult to gift to somebody unless you know exactly what it is that they love, but in looking at my collection and doing quite a few sniff tests, I think I've come up with one that I think is about as universal of a fragrance as possible, and that is Chloe Love Story. So when I say universal, I've talked about this one in a fairly recent video. I just can't remember which video it was, but I don't really tie this specifically to any season. So when I smell it, it doesn't scream summer or feel very winter or autumnal to me. It just could go at any point of the year. And as well, I think it's a very neutral and well-balanced fragrance. There's definitely an undertone of floral, but it's not that heavy floral. You know how rose can sometimes kind of get you in the back of the throat? Don't get me wrong, I love the smell of rose, but there's like a fine line and then it just crosses over into cloying. That is not the case here. I can't quite put my finger on what the flower is, but that's kind of what I like about it, that it's not so intensely leaning towards one thing over another. There's really no spiciness in here. There's no like bright citrusy tone, but it's still fresh and smells just beautiful. Like in smelling a lot of the other perfumes that I have, some of them are very heavy towards the winter side where they have that like deep sort of muskiness to them or almost like a hint of a spiciness to them. You don't find that in here. But when I smell the scents that I have that are a lot more what I consider to be summer scents, they have a lot more citrus and brightness to that. And again, I'm not seeing that in here. So if you're looking for a fragrance that is probably going to be as universally appealing as possible, I think Love Story hits the notes because it's not so strong on any side of the equation. So I think that makes this a rather safe fragrance option if you wanted to give fragrance as a gift. But of course, I would always suggest just putting in the gift receipt just in case. All right, so now we're gonna move into the makeup items and we're gonna start off with lips, and I have a lip gloss to recommend coming from Pat McGrath. This is the Lust Gloss. In particular, I love the shade Flush Fantasy. It is my absolute favorite, but I do have a few others here as well that I also really enjoy. I've got Divine Rose right here and Secret Lover. I just think that Flush Fantasy is like the absolute perfect neutral lip gloss. I love the formula on these. They last a fairly good amount of time for being a gloss, but they're not sticky. They don't like glue your lips together or camp out in the corners. They don't feather up through the lip line. They stay in place. They fade away nicely. There's no tingling sensation to them. I know some people love that. I absolutely hate when lip glosses are mentholated or have any sort of like cinnamon oil in them or whatever. I don't want my lips to be tingly. I just want them to be shiny, and that's what this accomplishes. You can find some really great deals on their lip glosses on the Pat McGrath website, less so on the Sephora website, but if you go direct to the Pat McGrath one, you will find these very often on sale. However, if price is a concern and you're looking for something that has a lower price point but is very similar to that, I've got this one here from Milani. This is the Ludicrous lip gloss. In particular, I have the shade Teen Spirit here. They're not exact dupes one for the other, but this is a very, very close second. You can get it at the drugstore. Although honestly, some of the prices that I've seen on these on the Pat McGrath website rival the drugstore prices. That's a whole other video, but drugstore pricing, getting a little out of control. Frankly, pricing on everything is getting out of control, but let's move on from there. These both make very solid options for lip gloss. Okay, so then what I'm left with are eyeshadow palettes. And the reason I haven't included like blushes or anything like that is because they're so very like specific to the person and undertones and all that kind of thing. So I personally would never give a foundation as a gift unless I knew the exact shade that my friend was looking for. There's just so many variables when it comes to things like that. So I steered clear for this video and I've just focused on eyeshadow palettes. So let's start off with Blend Bunny. So this is the Blends palette. And this I think is just, I mean, it's got every shade that you need in there. So if you have somebody who's just getting into makeup or somebody who is growing their collection, this is going to round out anybody's collection beautifully. As well, the quality of these shadows is just sublime. I will say I really love her matte formulation. The shimmers are not my favorite, so the fact that there are no shimmers in here I think is fine. I normally do enjoy having shimmers in a palette, but I don't miss them with this one because the blendability and the pigmentation of these matte shadows is absolutely beautiful. And again, I mean, it's just this beautiful rainbow palette, and yet I think they've kind of shifted away from like the traditional colors. So for example, like this yellowy green right here isn't one that you would typically find in a lot of rainbow palettes. It's not like that sort of primary color that they have typically. I think there's just something a little bit different here. I love that you've got the gradients, and I just think that it's just a very well-balanced palette that I think is going to have a place in pretty much anybody's makeup collection. If you want to steer away from actual full-sized palettes though, single shadows can be a great option. So these ones here are from Clionadh, and I do have just a smattering of them in here, but these multi-chrome shadows that they offer are absolutely beautiful. I will forever extol the virtues of the shade Glow. This is just such a stunning, stunning eyeshadow. Whether you wear it all over the lid or just pop it into the corner just for something different and eye-catching, I think it's so gorgeous. It's so smooth and beautiful. This, the nerd in me just likes to swatch it and look at it, to be honest, because I just think it's so beautiful. It shifts between purple and blue, but it just catches that light and bounces it back gorgeously. But I mean, there are so many different options to choose from. This is just a tiny portion of what's available on their website. So if you're looking to give a smaller gift, but one that still has a ton of impact, single shadows, particularly the single shadows from Clionadh, definitely the way to go. Now another colorful option, and one that is definitely seasonally appropriate, is this one here from Sugar Drizzle. This is the Frosty Flamingo palette. And I mean, you have to know your audience. If your friend is not into purple, they're probably not gonna like this palette. But it is, I mean, it's beautiful. First of all, this shade right here called Pinkaberry, this is one of those shadows that when I put it on, it hurts me physically to remove it because it is so stunning. It's this beautiful like pinky green shift, super sparkly, not glittery, but definitely like very reflective, and it just takes the eye look to the next level. It's beautiful. A lot of the shimmers in here are gorgeous. This is the only one that really kind of flips and has that duochrome thing going on. The mattes are beautiful as well. Some of the more satiny kind of shades, a little bit more toned down, I think that makes them very approachable, especially for people who are newer to the world of color. But also this palette's just adorable. The names are so cute. Snamingo, Featherbutt, Mr. Binks, Shrimp Slushy, Flamingo Baby, like the whole thing is just adorable. Featherbutt, come on, that's adorable. As well, the cover art on this palette is so cute and very on the nose for this time of year. So I think this would make just a really fun gift to give. But of course, not everybody is into colorful makeup, and so you might have somebody in your life who really likes neutral makeup, just likes to wear it to the office and doesn't want to play around with a bunch of colors. And I've got two palette recommendations for that. So one is the palette that I've been working on all throughout this year. This is the Tartelette in Bloom palette from Tarte. You'll have to forgive me because I have, like I said, been working on this all year. This shade did not come with this palette, so we're just going to ignore that one. I'll just stick a picture of it up in the corner here so that you can see what all the shades look like when it is brand new. But, and I've said this a million times, I'm going to say it again, what I love about this palette is that it is idiot proof. You really don't need to put any thought into how you're going to pair these because you have a row of cooler tones, a row of more neutral, and then a row of warmer / rosier tones down here. There are only 3 shimmer shadows in the palette. One was more high octane than the other 2, but that's not to say that the other 2 aren't beautiful. It did take me a while to figure out exactly how to use them. I will say that. Are these, where are they? These 2 shades right here. A little bit of setting spray goes a long way with the longevity with those shades. And I think it just makes a beautiful, easy, everyday kind of palette. But if you do want a more modern and updated version of that, there's this palette here from Makeup by Mario. This is the Ethereal Eyes palette. This is the newest palette that I have picked up and added to my collection, and I did pick it up specifically as the replacement for this one because, as you saw, there's quite a bit of use out of this one. They're not dupes by any stretch, but very similar kind of vibes to it, although this one I would say has more in terms of the shimmery shadows, and those shimmery shadows have more payoff in terms of how shimmery they are. This is the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes today. I have not experienced any issues with the blendability of these shadows, the longevity of them. I would say with the more sparkly kind of shadows, I would use a setting spray, if not an actual glitter glue on the lid. Glitter glue is optional. I don't find that I need it throughout the day, but definitely without any setting spray, I will get a little bit of sort of glitter transfer, even though they're not glittery shadows per se. They're not pressed glitters by any stretch. There are little micro glitters in the actual formula, and I do see that some of those do fall down on my cheeks if I haven't used a setting spray when applying it. So very, very simple workaround with that. But again, this just makes for a very sort of thoughtless makeup application in the morning, which frankly I appreciate because when I'm getting ready in the morning, I really don't want to be suffering from decision fatigue. I've already gone through that, trying to figure out what outfit I'm going to wear. I don't want to do it for my makeup. I really just want simple, apply, out the door, but I look polished, I look put together, and I feel confident in the makeup that I'm wearing. This accomplishes it for me. I am very pleased with this purchase. I have no buyer's remorse on that. So this is one that I would definitely give to somebody if they did work in an office setting or just preferred neutral eyeshadows to begin with. So either of these, I think the layout in here is better for somebody who is newer to makeup, but in terms of the actual ease of application and the shade selection, this is very, very similar. So there you have it. Those are my recommendations for gift giving. And again, I just want to thank Anna Luisa for sponsoring today's video. All the details for their sale and links will be down below in the description box, so be sure to go and check that out. But for now, I am going to wrap the video up here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next one. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.